Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. How was everyone's Sunday? I hope you all are blessed. I just want to come in and talk to you all um, about this message, and it's for me too. Look, this message is for me, not just for you all. Sometimes you got to come in and encourage yourself, but most likely when you're dealing with something, or you're thinking something, or you're processing something, most likely it's for some other people going through the same thing. You're just bold enough to talk about it, right? You're just bold enough to talk about it, and you're just called to talk about certain things that people are not, um, I won't say they're not able to talk about, but that's just not their gift. That's not their area, right? Everybody have their own giftings, and mine just so happen to be speaking. Okay, so listen, it will happen, right? It will happen, just not when you think it will. Okay, and I'm talking about those of you who are working on something. There are many of you, like, you're operating in your gift. You're doing things that is going to help you move forward. You're operating in your God-given gifts and your God-given talents, and you operating in your talents and gifts, will open up doors for you, right? It's going to make room for you, financial rooms. It's going to open financial doors. It's going to open connections. It's going to open all sorts of things, right? And you seem like you're just toiling and tilling the ground, and really you don't see any breakthroughs. You don't see any major breakthroughs, right? But you got to understand, the process is doing something. You continuing the process, although you don't see the results that you would like to see, it's creating something in you. It's creating a discipline in you, right? Sometimes we think we're going to see the results right away, but we're not going to see the results right away, right? Sometimes the process is all the results that you need, right? The process, being consistent, being diligent, getting up, knowing that you don't see the results you want to see, but thank you. You don't see the results you want to see. Um, you don't see the results you want to see, but you continue on doing what it is that you should be doing, right? Hold on. Hold on. So you have to continue. You have to continue and trust the process. You ever heard that saying, trust the process? You got to trust the process. The process is what developing you. The process is what developing you. It's growing you. It is pruning you, right? There is something happening in that process. And you have to be diligent. You have to continue. Sometimes I know you want to give up. I've been there. I've been there. I want to give up sometimes, right? I want to give up sometimes. But I know I have to keep going. I know I have to keep going. You can't, and in this society where everything is so people want to become overnight. People want to do things overnight and get to the result overnight. That's just not realistic. That's not ideal, right? Even if you get something overnight, whatever it is that you desire, you have to think about, are you in a place to manage whatever that is? Are you in a place to maintain? Because you can get something, but can you handle it? Do you have the mindset to maintain it? Do you have the self-control? Do you have the spirit to maintain it? Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, do you have the spirit, the mentality? Do you have the mindset to maintain whatever it is that you say you want? I don't want anything that I can't maintain. I don't want anything that I can't manage, because a lot of times we say we want things, but we don't even have the mindset to manage that thing. We don't have the mindset to manage all of the extra things that's going to come with it, right? Most of the times people want money. Like, could you manage the hate? Could you manage the, all of the, oh, thank you from the UK. Can you handle all of the hate that comes with it, the jealousy, the, people asking you to help? Can you handle all of that? Do you know how to manage when to say yes and when to say no? Right? Could you handle it? It's not. I agree, it's not. I'd rather have peace first than money. Because I've been in a place where I had a lot of things, and those things didn't bring me peace. I would rather have peace than to have things. And once you get to that point, you can easily get whatever you want. But long as I got my peace is important to me. Because I know if I got peace, I can get anything I want, materialistic. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. And things people think, and that's another thing, people think blessings are material things. Like, we always equate blessings with material things. No, blessings are just not material things. Blessings is just not money. Blessings is just, I'm not saying that you can live without money, and but what I was saying was, I had to turn my other app off. What I was saying, like, peace is priceless. Peace is priceless. When I tell you, peace in your mind, body, and soul is priceless. Because you can have all the things and the stuff and still be tormented in your soul. It's not beneficial to be tormented in your soul, and you got this big house, big car, you got the material things, but you have no peace in your soul. Give me the peace, and I can get the things. I know the things will be added unto me in due season and due time. In due season. In due season, right? That's important to me. When you go through things in life, you realize what is important to you after you have experienced life a while. My grandmother used to always say, I guess this is a Southern thing, because I heard people say their grandparents said the same thing. My grandmother used to tell me to keep living. Keep living. That means that just because you haven't experienced it yet, most likely you're going to experience life, and life is going to change your perspective. Because when we're younger, we think we got life all figured out. We think we got life planned out. We choose stuff that God didn't choose for us. We make decisions that is not really beneficial. We just make decisions out of the place and the mindset we are at in that time. We are in at that time. We make decisions. Like, we make permanent decisions based on things that are temporary. We say things and do things and haven't really lived life. That's why when you're younger, it seems like because you're young and youthful, you think you know everything, you think and you haven't really lived. I think about all the ignorant things I've done because I didn't have wisdom. I was young and trying to figure my way. I really didn't have, my grandmothers were there, but I really didn't have a lot of parental guidance. I didn't have a father figure, which is very, very important. I didn't have a mother figure like guiding me. My grandmothers were there, but they only could, they were only able to do what they could, right? And so when you don't have that, that's why parents are important. Sometimes you got these devilish parents. They don't want their children to do no better than them, right? They don't want our children to do no better than them, so they're not going to guide their kids down the right path. They're not going to teach them to be independent without them. You know, some parents want their children to be codependent. No, that's because you're going to leave this world one day, and you want your child to be able to make and know how to survive without you. Not really survive, but thrive, you know? Oh, most definitely. That's why when you start getting wisdom, repent now. You get wisdom, you know you don't do those things that you don't want to reap. You don't do anything to anyone that you don't want to come back to you. That's what I've learned. But when you're ignorant, you don't know. You don't know. When you're ignorant, you haven't been taught. Life got to teach you sometimes. Life has to teach you. Oh, it's very sad. And you have a lot of people that are experiencing this. You have a lot of people, unfortunately. You have a lot of people. Right? You have a lot of people that don't want, you know, a lot of parents don't want their children to do better. Because it's an ego thing. It's a pride thing. Some people want their children to always be calling on them. Every time they go through hardships, they don't want their children to figure it out. They want to be men of God in their children's life. They want to pray. They want to be God. Right? They want their kids to call them instead of praying to God and asking God wisdom, asking God to show them how to do different things, because there is going to become a time where your parent is not going to be here. So you need to know how to be wise and ask for wisdom from a higher power. Right? Have to be wise and ask for wisdom from God, a higher power, someone who sees everything and knows everything. Exactly. 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 That's what I do. I'm trying to encourage them, but sometimes, you know, your children get foolish too, and they don't want sound wisdom. You know, they don't want sound wisdom because they have people who are around them who want to throw like a wretch and you know what them things called, a wretch, throw a wretch in what somebody's trying to teach them that's wise and, you know, that's going to help benefit them. And even in that, when your children don't listen, you got to let them learn life for themselves. You know, especially when they become of age, you can't be trying to control their life and how they live their life. I just teach my children, whatever you do, just know there's consequences. There are consequences by the, you know, when you do things that are not right. When you're in all these crazy sinful acts and doing all this craziness, there's consequences for that. Just like I had to go through consequences from my ignorance and doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And I take full responsibility and suffer them consequences. Y'all gonna have to reap that. You're gonna reap what you sow. Just like repent now said, you're gonna reap what you sow. And you know, we have to live and learn. You know, another thing, you can't protect your children from everything. You know. Oh, it is. Yep, it is. It's the father's responsibility. Biblically, the father's supposed to raise the child up. The father's supposed to be there. The father's supposed to be there. That's why I think a lot of these kids are out of order, because they don't have any firm foundation. That's why a lot of these kids are struggling in their identity. Even if the father is there, he's not present, right? He's not being the father that God structured him to be, which means that he needs to be getting his guidance on how to bring up those kids and fear God. And that's why we have so much dysfunction in the world, right? That's why we have so much dysfunction. That's why the kids are, you know, running amok, and, you know, people still try to sit here and blame the woman and blame this. And no, the man is out of order. The man is not, he's not getting instruction from God. It don't take a rocket scientist to see where all the craziness coming from. People just dropping their seeds everywhere. Got babies here. You got a baby. You got a baby. You got a baby. Everybody got a baby. No families are. There's no structure, right? There's no structure in the home because there's no stability. There's no stability. This person married, got 2 kids here. You got children over there. This one got kids over here. That's not how that's supposed to be. Exactly. Fathers need to be in the home. I think good fathers need to be in the home. Good fathers need to be in the home, and they need to be getting their instructions from God on how to lead that family. They don't know. That's why you got to ask God for wisdom, so God can show you how to lead. And we wonder why these kids struggling in their identity. I never see so many young men struggling in their identity. They don't know if they want to be this or that. They don't know. They don't know because they don't have no structure, no father figure to show them how to live right, how to live pure, how to live for God. And then when you're not dealing with your issues, when the man is not dealing with his issues, what he's struggling with, the kid's gonna reap that. That stuff gonna pass down to the children. Yeah, the stuff gonna pass down to the children. Kids struggling in their identity. They don't know if they want to be a girl or a boy. There's no strong, because if you had a strong father to stand firm and don't leave all that weight on the mother to carry it. The woman can't do what a dad could do. The woman can't do what a dad could do. I don't care what women say. Women can't raise no man. Women don't have the structure and the sternness. They can teach them how to be good citizens and productive citizens of society, but they still need that male figure. That's why it's always going to be a gaping hole in these young men. And they trying to get something from another man that their father didn't give them. I was looking at something the other day, how all these young men struggling with homosexuality, and the majority of them was saying that they didn't have their fathers there. They were looking for their fathers to affirm them. And it's not the men's, it's not their fault. That's the enemy coming in to, we have to give these people grace. You don't know what they're dealing with. I thought that was the saddest thing, just to hear them talk about their dad and, how perversion led them to, liking the same sex. That's just the plan of the enemy. And unfortunately, half of their parents and dads introduce these kids to that perversion because they struggling with it. They got the door of lust and perversion and dealing with PRN, pornography. They introducing them kids to that struggle. Now they battling that spirit of lust because they're not fighting their flesh. They're not dealing with their demons. And that's a blessing. If you can be there, even when it gets hard. That's why you have to go to God. When it gets hard, like, there's a difference between being there and being there, teaching your children, the ways of God and teaching them the things of life. Because people ain't a parent just being there. You giving your children money and doing stuff for them. That's not just parenting. That's not just parenting. You being there, you being there just to be there. No, what are you teaching them? What are you teaching them? How are you teaching them? Not just being there. Like, teach them about life. Teach them about, loving themselves. Affirm them. Not just being there. I know people who had their dads there and they were just providers, which they just gave money. They didn't teach them no life lessons. They left that all up to the mom. They left that all up to the mom. And then dad there to speak life into them kids, to speak up and to teach these children what's right and what's wrong. Not just sit there, just be there. What are you teaching them? What wisdom is you imparting to children? Life imparting into them. Because they didn't ask to be here. And you only could do so much. Like a mom could only do so much. That's why, I see craziness on TV talking about the single mom and the single this and single mom this. It's not just the mom's fault. It's both of those parents. People always want to have excuses for not being responsible. You got to be responsible for your actions. You can't blame anyone. The woman didn't have the baby by her. Regardless of if you don't like the person or not, you should have thought about that before you drop your seed off. Like that shows lack of self-control. Now you got a baby coming into the world that's already rejected. Like the baby's already rejected in the womb because y'all wasn't planning on being together. Like all this craziness is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. Folks really have to do better in this world. And we have to stop glorifying, we got to stop glorifying a lot of foolishness. We support a lot of foolishness. It is. It's so sad. So sad. And then too, we wonder why the world is how it is. Wonder why the world is how it is. No structure. Everybody running amok. The kids out of order. The women, we out of order. Like everybody just running amok. Nobody don't want to take responsibility. Name of this channel. Like nobody wants to take responsibility. Men blaming the women blaming the men. And it's just a bunch of foolishness to me. Nobody wants to do it how God says to do it. We want to do it our way. And is our way working? Is our way working? Men are not teaching young men how to be young men, how to be disciplined in their flesh. They're not teaching them because they can't teach young men how to be young men. But yeah, we don't want to take accountability. Everybody want to blame somebody because they don't want to be responsible. Blame this person. It's your mama. It's your dad. It was you. It's your grandma. It's your granddad. It's the white man. It's the government. It's this. Everybody need to take responsibility and accountability for themselves. We don't want to do it God's way. We want to do it our way and see it's not working. And we support that foolishness. Got kids here, got kids there, leaving these children with gaping holes. Leaving them with voids in their souls. And now the enemy can come in and get into their head. And unfortunately, got a lot of folks that don't want people to have successful families. Like if they didn't do it, especially if it's a generational curse, if nobody in the family did it, your family members don't want you to do it because them spirits in them are going to attack what you trying to do for your family. What you trying to break, the curses you trying to break. And folks allow them demons to come in and disrupt your family too. Allow them to come right in. Yep, come right in. And wonder why these kids running amok like they are. Nobody got father in the home. Nobody got a father in the home. Right? Dad's not there. And the ones who want to be there, you got everybody else. You got everybody trying to come against you being there. They don't want you to be there. Folks like for some reason, folks like dysfunction and chaos and confusion and keeping folks in brokenness. 9 times out of 10, them young men that's struggling with homosexuality, 9 times, it's not 100%, 9 times out of 10, they didn't have a dad there who was present and doing their part. Who was present, doing their part, leading the way. They live in a life of purity. Because a lot of times when people are sinning, the sins pass down to the children. Whatever you do in the dark, as a father, as a mother, them sins, if you don't repent, them sins are going, if you don't repent and break them curses, you're going to see that sin rise up in them children. That spirit of perversion going to rise up in them children. Your secret sins are going to be a display in your kids. A lot of these kids who are struggling with homosexuality, their parents struggle with that secretly, and they never told anybody about it. They don't want to break that curse. You got grandmothers who live that lifestyle and hid it, and they don't want to break that curse. Whatever you hide in the dark will come to the light in your children. All them sins that we've committed that the kids don't know before they were born, it'll rise up in them kids. And you wondering what's wrong with them. No, you know what's wrong with them. You know what's wrong with them. All them sins and perversion that you think you're doing, all the stuff you think you're doing in the dark, hiding, that stuff will show up in them children. That thing is spiritual. Very spiritual. Until we deal with it, we're all going through something, but we got to be willing to deal with it and not bury it and think it's not happening. Trying to, overlook it, try to hide it, and people take stuff to the grave. No, you can't take that stuff to the grave. You got to address that stuff. Stuff happened to you when you were a child. You want to hide it. You don't want nobody to know you've been molested as a child. You don't want to know. You don't want nobody to know you've been abused. So you hide it. And now the children going through the same thing. No, they can't handle the truth, but it got to be told. No, everybody can't handle the truth. I didn't want to handle the truth, Sean. Listen, the truth hurts. But it has to be told so the curse can be broken, so you can shed light on what people are trying to hide. People try to hide too much and wondering why the cycle keep repeating because no one wants to address it. I'm not hiding nothing. Anything that I've dealt with that I feel like I'm hiding, God bringing it to my memory and I'm dealing with it. Because sometimes we want to push stuff down where we don't want to remember it no more. There are a few things I got to deal with. Because that's the only way the curse going to be broken. Same repeated thing. I see some repeated things in my bloodline. Some repeated things that I've experienced in my bloodline that happened before. Same thing my kids experience. And it is, the truth hurts, unfortunately. Your mama and them will be mad, because they don't like to. One thing about them old folks, born in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they don't like for you to bring up stuff from the past. They like to keep stuff underneath the rug. No, this is the generation that's coming up that these kids want to talk about stuff. And we got to stop being so prideful and set in our ways and think that we were saints. I like the truth. It's not that I don't like to be wrong. I like the truth. The truth hurts. I'm wrong a lot. That's for you to find out, James. I'm not here to, explain away God. You figure out how dinosaurs were here. That's your, I know what I believe. That's your, you got to go figure that out. Like, you do the research. You ain't got to try to convince me. I'll be hiding these trolls from the channel because they come with these crazy questions. Like, go somewhere else. You figure it out. Go Google it. Go ask ChatGPT. How do you explain how dinosaurs are? Like, people come here like, I don't care what you believe in. You ain't got to come here and listen. James, child, you got to go ahead and find somebody else. I'm going to hide you from this channel here. They ain't got nothing. You figure it out. You figure out how you go explain to yourself. you go do your own research on that. People always want you to try to explain stuff. You can't explain God. You got to experience him. Regardless of what religion say, man-made rules, you got to experience him for yourself and deal with it as you go. I don't get into all that extra stuff that people get into. Oh Lord, that just made me laugh. But yeah, we got to do the work on ourselves. A lot of this stuff is not supposed to be. You're welcome. Repent now. Stay near the Lord. You're welcome, dear. Oh, I'm very Southern. Hi, from Italy, Alicia. I'm very Southern. I don't hide from that. I used to want to hide from my Southern lingo. I don't hide from that anymore. I embrace it because that's what makes me stand out. That's what makes me stand out. Makes me unique. And that's another thing. We got to stop hiding our unique selves. Stop hiding who God made us to be. For years I struggled with that. Like, just being who God has called me to be. Like, because people always want to put you in the box and, put all this man-made limitations on you. You got to know who you are. If God is not convicting you, and if he's not convicting you of certain things, you do what you do. Your personal relationship, he'll tell you when to stop doing something if he is telling you to do that. You will know his voice. You'll know when you're convicted of things. Your relationship is personal, and you don't have to fit into everyone else's box about what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. Because you'll never get to know God Thank you. You'll never get to know God if you're basing your relationship on what people think your relationship should be with him. That's why a lot of people hate God. A lot of people don't want to get to know him because of other people and what they say and how they say you should be doing, what they say you should be doing. He ain't doing this, God on it. You get your own relationship. You'll be much happier. Let him guide you and order your steps, not man. He didn't say let man order your steps. Let him order your steps. He'll send you to the right people. He'll send you to the right people, around the right people. Yep. And two, a lot of times, don't get into debates with people, because people love to get into the debates that are senseless, right? When you get into senseless debates that have no point at the end, it's not proving anything. What is that doing for you? That's why I don't get into like religious debates, and I don't know all the Bible. I don't know all of the theological, text and all of that. I don't know all of that, right? But why get into an argument with someone when you know your experience, when you know what God has done for you? That's what people forget. Don't forget your experience. Don't forget how he delivered you. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget how he sent people to help you or sent people to deliver you out of your stuff. You can't forget that. You can't worry about all the religious stuff that people talk about that tries to keep you in bondage. You can't worry about that. Because people try to keep you in bondage because they're not free. They're not free in their spirits and souls. So they want to tell you what you should be doing, how you should be living. And, this is not of God and that is not of God. You got your relationship. You will know. He'll convict you. He'll convict you. You'll feel it. If you want, he'll tell you what's not cool and what is. So that's what I want to come talk about. I just want to come talk to y'all about that. I just be talking sometimes, but with meaning and purpose, encouragement, insight, right? Yeah, that's what I like to do. Just encourage and speak truth. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth, right? Sometimes people don't like to hear the truth. And hold on. Yeah, people don't like to hear the truth. And you have to stay focused, because a lot of times people try to come distract you, throw you off your path. Especially people you don't know. Like, how you gonna let somebody you don't even know distract you and throw you off your path? Come question you. Anything you have questions about, take it to God. If people are not directing you back to God, don't believe nothing they saying. Right? If somebody telling you something and you're not sure, you supposed to go take that to God yourself. You go ask God about what it is that person said. You don't take everything people say at face value. Even what I say, you don't take what I say at face value, because I'm just I'm just human, right? I'm a human. I don't say everything right or know everything was right. Like, Lord, is this from you? Is what she's saying, is that for me? Because everything somebody say is not for you. That's another thing. Like, people got to know when somebody's talking about something, it's not for me. Everything somebody say out of their mouth in the world is not for me. And I don't understand how people can come argue with folks. I don't understand how people could come argue with folks, and they don't even know them. They don't even know them. Like you take, and I don't understand too how people could take somebody else's words as value and they don't know them. That's why I talk about healing on this channel, because you'll know when things are personal and when it has to do with you and when things have to do with them. If somebody says something to you that you don't know and it hurts your feelings, that means you got a lot of work to do. That means you got a lot of inner work to do. You have to heal the traumas and things that you're dealing with. Because if a stranger could come and put a damper, like if they can come dim your light, if they can come knock you off your path, make you lose sleep, and you don't know them, you got a lot of work to do, dear. You got a lot of inner work to do. Because how people treat you and what people do to you says more about them than you. And once we realize that, we'll be better off. That's when you know you've done the work. Because I sure used to be one of them ones, right? I used to be one of them ones who, before I healed and before I did the work and before, I dealt with all my issues and traumas and stuff, I used to be the ones, because I'm a Southern person. Southern people, we speak to everybody. The cat, dog. And, I used to have people who, I used to speak to and they wouldn't speak back out of their own dysfunction and trauma, especially like on jobs and stuff like that. And I used to allow them to affect me. Like I used to allow, because they didn't speak to me back, mess up my whole day. That's when I was young and immature and dumb and I didn't know who I was, right? That's when I needed validation from other people. That's when I was seeking things outside of myself to make me complete and whole. But once I realized, right? Once I realized who I am, I'm going to speak, whether you speak or not, I'm going to still do what I do, but you don't have to speak. Because that's just who I am. I'm not going to let you change me because you acting like a butt. Okay? Because you acting like you ain't got no home training. Your lack of home training got nothing to do with me. Your lack of Southern hospitality, that's right, quick. Your lack of Southern hospitality have nothing to do with me. So once I learned that and started doing the work with myself, life became much easier because I realized everything that people do don't have anything to do with me, right? Don't have anything to do with me. Yep. Don't have anything to do with me. And sometimes people are so broken and dysfunctional within themselves, they want to find something. See, that's why you have to heal, right? Even in your family and relationships, marriages, friendships, when people can sense that you got some issue lacking, or you're dealing with something, or you got something in you that they can poke at, right? That they can poke at, they're going to continue to poke at it because it makes them feel good. Demons like to feed off, your emotions. You notice that demons like to feed off your emotions. Have you ever been in a relationship with a person and or a friendship, and when they get angry, right, they say things that they know will hurt you, that you share with them in private, or you share it with them being vulnerable. They bring up those things and it seems like they get a satisfaction because you're upset about it. They get that high. Demons get a high. That's why when trolls come on here, I got a block and delete ministry. And what that is I block and delete them. I don't pay them no mind. Every blue moon I slip up, but I block and delete. Because you got people that's what they do. They have nothing else to do with their life. They'll come on here and troll and say craziness. And you got to learn how to ignore. Because I know in my mind that has nothing to do with them. Their trolling has nothing to do. It has more to do with them and their soul, right? It has more to do with them and their lost soul and their demons than, a person who's coming on YouTube. So you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of who you are, and your purpose and the points you're trying to make, and move on, right? And if you don't know that, you're gonna take everything to heart. And you're going to have people stop you from shining, stop you from doing what God told you to do, stop you from getting your healing, stop you from growing. You don't want nobody to stop you from growing, right? You don't want no. I know I don't want nobody to stop me from getting my healing and deliverance and moving forward. Because one thing about demons and spirits, they love attention. They'll do anything to get attention. Oh, they very, what that thing, attention seeking. They love to do. They'll do anything and say anything to get attention. Whether it's negative or positive attention, they will do. And most of these spirits like negative attention. They feed off of it. And you just got to ignore them. You know, once you heal, that's why I talk about healing. Once you heal, you got to, you know, you learn to deal with stuff. You learn to ignore people. You learn to exclude yourself. You learn the situation. Because if not, it's going to drain your energy. It's going to drain your energy. Yep, it's going to drain your energy. And you don't want that. You want to be joyful. You want to be bubbly, happy. And you want to keep moving forward. And that's what them spirits don't like. They don't like for you to move forward, you know? They like for you to sit and don't want to move forward in life. Broke you down so much, you know, in a relationship or a friendship, they don't want you to get new friends. They don't want you to find a new husband. They don't want you to find a new whatever. Because they want to keep you. They know they got you down and you're not moving forward. You're not happy. The enemy loves to steal your joy. Exactly. I call them joy thieves. I did a video on that years ago on this channel called Joy Thieves. So, yep, joy thieves. Folks are demons. You got a lot of people that are demons, operating demon spirit and demon energy. It's the truth. With all this craziness going on in the world, you think they operating out of a spirit of, you know, an angelic spirit? With all this foolishness, you think they're just being angelic. And, you know, if you don't like that term, go somewhere else. Demons don't like to be called demons. Being a demon energy. But you all just, yeah, I just want to come talk to y'all about that. You know, operating and you know, just working on yourself. Operating in the spirit of excellence, always improving. You know, it's always about working on yourself, becoming better for yourself. A lot of times we tend to want to blame other people for things that are going on in our lives. That's why we have this channel, the Responsibility Channel. I believe that we are responsible for how we feel. I think we're responsible for our healing at a certain age. Now, children are not responsible. You know, I don't blame children for anything. But as an adult, we are responsible for our lives and where our lives are, where it is, and where we want it to be. We're responsible for that. We have to take charge of that. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. Yep. It is not easy. It is not easy. Yep. Always begins working on you. Working on you, and it sure does. Always starts and ends with us. Yeah, but let me go. You know, I just want to come and share that video with you all and to tell you all to keep thriving, keep doing the work, keep moving forward, and be blessed.